Hello and welcome everyone to Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. Really glad to have you join us here on Daily Immigration Dose. Well, I'm Napasa Pradhan, and before we head on to today's discussion, I have this important disclaimer for you. And that is by watching our videos, you agree and understand that the information shared, including user comments, is not professional advice. Use at your own risk. Our intention is never to offend, it's just a casual exchange of ideas. Once again, folks out there, welcome back, and it's really great to have you. Yes, I mean, we are close to, bringing 2024 to an end, and we're reflecting on a year filled with events that have left an incredible mark on history, whether it is political upheavals or groundbreaking Supreme Court decisions, natural disasters, monumental achievements. Well, I think this is where you are at and at the right place. But without further ado, please help me also, welcome my wonderful co-host Sam. Hi Sam, how are you doing?
Hi, Napas. I'm doing great, and it's so good to have you also with us, and especially towards the end of this year. So, I hope this is going to be a great episode because today we are going to have a recap of all the latest headlines, that happened in 2024. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this session, and I'm sure we have a lot to discuss in today's episode. So, yeah, I think let's go ahead.
Yes, folks, just like Sam has already said, we are going to revisit some of the biggest headlines of 2024. But then before we go to, the previous, months of the year, we have some of the latest news as well. So I think we should cover that. First up is let's talk cricket. I think, yes, specifically USA cricket, because the organization recently announced that its squad of for the ICC Under 19 Women's T20 World Cup in Malaysia, and it's been making waves online. I'm sure you must have also seen it. So, yes, because the entire squad, including the reserves, is comprised of Indian American players. That's an interesting one. And this all Indian American lineup is being led by none other than Anika Kolan as captain and Aditiba as the vice captain. So both bring impressive experience, having represented the USA in inaugural under 19 women's T20 World Cup just last year. So, yes, online reactions have been mixed, by the way, because some are celebrating this as a proud moment for the Indian American community, while others are calling attention to its striking dominance. But regardless, wherever you stand on the debate, there is no denying that this squad still represents the growing diversity and talent in cricket in the USA. So I think here's a big shout out to the under 19 women's T20 World Cup team. Way to go, all the very best. And yes, maybe you can also leave comments on what do you think about, this incredible lineup, all Indian American women here. So tell us about it. And I have another news update, and this is on the ongoing support for Ukraine. President Joe Biden is in his final weeks and is still in office, but has announced an additional $2.5 billion dollars in military aid to Ukraine. This is a continuation of the U.S. commitment to strengthening Ukraine's position in the ongoing conflict. And the aid package includes $1.25 billion dollars from U.S. stockpiles, along with $1.22 billion dollars from Ukraine Security Assistance Initiative. And this marks the final USA package for Biden's presidency. Well, the interesting thing about the USAI package is that the military equipment is procured from the defense industry or partners, which means it will take some time to be delivered in the front lines. Biden has also emphasized that the US will continue to support Ukraine for the remainder of his time in the office. And yes, as we watch the situation evolve, I'm sure the question remains, how will this ongoing support impact the broader geopolitical landscape, especially as our 47th new president is set to take office very, very soon. So those are a few news updates from my end, and Sam, you can go on with your news update.
All right. Thank you so much, Nepasa, for sharing those latest news updates. And friends, I also have my news also. It's historic migrant surge reverses population decline in New York. So, New York has experienced a significant influx of migrants that is reversing years of population decline. So, between 2023 and 2024, the state's population has increased by 130,000, the largest rise in the Northeast. And this surge is attributed to liberal sanctuary policies and general welfare system. So, under the Biden administration, more than 8 million migrants entered the US, with many claiming that asylum due to economic hardship. So, the influx included 4 million from 2021 to 2023 and 2.8 million from 2023 to 24, five times the 2019 figure. Moving ahead with next news is the United States has disbursed an additional $3.4 billion in budget aid to Ukraine. That means bringing total US budget support to over $30 billion since Russia's invasion in February 2022. This assistance is vital for maintaining Ukrainian government services and also paying salaries. Additionally, President Joe Biden announced that $2.5 billion in security assistance for Ukraine is going to be paid. Well, these measures come as the Biden administration seeks to solidify support for Ukraine before President Donald Trump has to be elected, and who has also expressed some kind of skepticism about ongoing military aid and takes office. Also, there's another news that is former President Jimmy Carter passes away at 100. So, former President Jimmy Carter, the 39th president who served from 1977 to 1981, has passed away at the age of 100. Carter was known for his post presidential humanitarian work and was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2002. And his death marks the end of an era in American politics. And he is also remembered for his dedication to human rights and global peace. May his soul rest in peace. All right, so these were some of the latest news updates from my end, and I think without any further ado, we should look upon our today's topic, and we should also talk about world headlines of 2024, the news that truly shaped our world this year. And from so today we are going to cover everything like from global conflicts to historical moments. So there are certain events that have left a lasting impact on nations and also individuals alike. So stay tuned as we break down the stories that changed the course of history in 2024. So Nipasa, why don't you go ahead and share the first event of 2024?
Well, thank you so much, Sam. Absolutely. I got a few headlines, and well, I mean, we just spoke about, President Biden, who is in his last days, has made some contributions to support Ukraine. So I think we should go cover war first, so that, um, yeah. So, but then you also spoke. Okay, let me take that for now. So I think you are covering Ukraine, right, Sam? If you don't mind, if you could just lead us with that, please.
Absolutely, I would love to cover that. And I think it was one of the major heartbreaking moments, that we have seen in 2024. And even the most heartbreaking thing was that it happened on February 14, 2024. So, Nepasa, as we say that Feb 14 is a day of Valentine's Day. Mostly, it's the most cherished day.
Lovers Day, yeah.
Absolutely, it's the most lovable day. People are so much full of love and expressing care and like being so vulnerable at that day. But there was something that was majorly heartbreaking that happened on Feb 14, 2024. So it was actually the scale of the loss during this week that was unimaginable. And this was about Ukraine Russia war. So over 4,000 soldiers, from both the nations, Ukraine and Russia, were killed in this intense battles, and there was some of the heaviest fighting that concentrated in eastern Ukraine. In fact, there were few cities that were also heavily bombarded, and the entire residential areas like homes, buildings, and other structures also that have been completely destroyed and damaged. And it was so like heartbreaking. It was so stressful, to go through all these events and to understand that why these wars are happening. And also by seeing like thousands of homes, schools, and hospitals were also destroyed, and over it was estimated that 1,500 innocent civilians actually lost their lives in the crossfire, and many of them were children and women too. In fact, more than 10,000 people were injured during this war, and in some areas basic services like water supply, electricity were also cut off, for days, just to add to the suffering. So I think these incidents were very inhumane and were very, I would say, stressful for everyone, not only for the Ukraine and for the Russian people, but all over the world, for the globe. And beyond the loss of life, also, the war has forced thousands of Ukrainians to flee their home. And this was something, a very major thing, that it's not only about the destruction of their house, but also the one who just somehow got their shelters during that loss time, they also has to flee their homes. So in just 1 week, over 100,000 people were displaced. They seek safety in underground shelters. In fact, neighboring towns are even fleeing across the borders in Poland and some European countries too. So there were key bridges, highways, and rail lines were all destroyed so that nobody can communicate, nobody can transport to Ukraine and help them. So it was all about the plan that all Russia made, and they tried to made it as much difficult, to help to reach the most affected areas. And it was like historical landmarks, like churches and monuments were also even destroyed. So we can see that it was such a like intentional war that happened at that time, was full of aggression, full of hatred, full of hostile feelings. It was all about that. And if we also talk about how international community reacted, then international community reacted swiftly to the staggering losses. Countries like US, United States, the UK, and the several European nations, they promised they are going to support Ukraine by giving them some military help and humanitarian help as well. But despite these efforts, the I think the scale of destruction and human suffering has made it so difficult to deliver them for the help, because everything was destructed. The roads were destructed, the rails were destructed. I think there wasn't any way to reach them out or to help them out, because there was no internet was not also working. The roads were destroyed. So I think the war between Ukraine and Russia been has claimed so many lives and caused so much devastation. So yeah, I think this tragic week of 2024 of February month stands as a reminder, of urgent need for peace. And yeah, I could say that we can just continue to hope this for a peaceful resolution and end to pain endured by so many. So yeah, I think this was my one of the major headlines that I wanted to cover in today's episode while beginning the show. So Nipasa, what do you think? What other events were the major headlines that needs to be discussed in
I
this?
mean, yes, yes. Talking about war, I think there has been a lot to look back, right? Even Israel and Palestine have been at war, and as you spoke about Russia and Ukraine, yes, the whole world got involved in helping out people who suffered during war, right? And also we had the Bangladesh riot. So we are going to talk about each one of them, I think. So yes, talking about the ongoing conflict, 2024, Israel and Palestine conflict has remained one of the most heart-wrenching, global issues, and we had spoken about it in one of our uh, daily immigration dose episodes, I remember. And yes, this year really saw escalations, with Gaza suffering unprecedented airstrikes, Israel towns on high alert due to militant attacks, and innocent civilians, especially, children, have borne the brunt of the violence. And the humanitarian the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, it has reached levels which are unimaginable, because severe shortages of food, water, as you mentioned, which also happened during the
Yeah.
Ukrainian war, and even medical supplies, despite calls from international organizations for urgent intervention. So, of course, if you look at the diplomatic efforts, they have stalled, with political divisions hindering meaningful progress as well. So this year, we also saw protests calling for peace through online rhetoric, often fueled hatred. So making reconciliation of a far off dream, because when people want help online nowadays, I think everybody is so vocal. There, every platform is where you can share what you feel, and that's where you will see all these, I mean, so much hatred across the world, and people, I don't know what's happening. And the big question now is, can a two-state solution still work, or is it out of reach? And how, do we ensure future generations can really live in peace? So there are these questions, and there still is no peace yet. So I think that is the main problem here. I mean, whether you talk about Palestine and Israel, or you talk about Ukraine and Russia, peace is, I mean, doesn't prevail. Not far, nowhere to be seen. Not far, far. So I think it's the situation out there is very sad, and we are nearing to an end where we say, it's the New Year's Eve. We want to celebrate, and when we talk about them, people out there, folks out there, I wonder what are they doing today, last day of the year? Are they looking forward for a better year ahead, or even to celebrate the first of 2025?
I think even if they are celebrating or even if they are looking forward to 2025, I think that's very good. But it's also very important to know each major events or each major incidents that took place in 2024, because I think these all can be considered as a big learning from what we went through, what people thought about it. So we can just hope and we can also pray that maybe in 2025 nothing war. I wish never war happen in any country or ever in any year. But still, for 2025, I think we can look forward to it and we can be a little optimistic for this, because 2024 has actually brought a lot of challenges, a lot of changes too. And as we talk about wars, so I think nothing can be worse than that it's not only the government people, or it's not only the leaders who are having war, it's more about the civilians, because they suffer a lot, and all the challenges, all the problems, all the destructions what they face, nobody can imagine. So I think, yeah, it's one of the most saddest thing for any nation. Doesn't matter whether it's Israel, Gaza, or Palestine, or Ukraine, Russia, whatsoever. I think it should be an end, and absolutely, I think there shouldn't be any conflict between any nation. Even if it is, then I think best way is to have peace treaty, peace agreement between the two nations. And I think by compromising, there shouldn't be that chance, that one country can be having a war against the other.
Yes. But yes, I think with Trump coming in, he has also said that the war is coming to an end. So let's hope for the best, and let's hope that happens very, very soon. Let's hope that these countries also finally find some peace. I mean, I can only imagine, but don't really know what the situation could be, because what we see in news, it's seriously scary. You
Mhm.
know, fumes and fire and so much blood everywhere. It's just scary. You also want to talk about the Bangladesh riot, right, Sam?
Right, right. I was coming to it. And I think with this, we talked about Israel and Palestine, and then Ukraine and Russia war. And moving ahead, there was also another event that took place in early July 2024. And that's near to India, that is Bangladesh, country I would like to talk about. That Bangladesh witnessed one of the most intense student led uprising in its history. So, in this, what happened that the protest, which started as a very peaceful demonstration kind of thing. So, students were having this protest in a peaceful way and calling it for educational reforms. But ultimately it didn't happen, it didn't end it in a very peaceful way. It escalated into a violent clashes with authorities, and over the course of 5 days, more than 1,500 people lost their lives. And in fact, many of them were students, youths, and thousands of students, they were injured. They were so badly injured. And the protest and violence that disrupted even the local economy and causing a lot of financial losses in that country. So, you know what happened? Like the protest was sparked by government decisions that students felt undermined and their future opportunities, including changes to exam systems and educational policies. So, government, what they did, they had this thing to change a bit in exam system. They wanted to modify the exam system and wanted to apply some new educational policies as well. So,
Yes.
they did that new grading system. They implemented this thing, and what it happened, it made the exams even more difficult. Like the passing marks, if it was about 35, then now the student has to crack 40. And there was more about theoretical knowledge now as compared to the practical knowledge. So these were some major changes that Bangladeshi government brought for the students. But the students, they didn't like this, and students across the country took to the streets. They were demanding justice and change also in the examination system. And as the tension grew, clashes broke out between students and the police, and it was a major violence, and it was all disruption, all devastating things happened. Then the violence also escalated, like buildings were set on fire, there were physical barriers like walls, fences, were set up by protesters or authorities, to block roads or control movement. Even the military personnel, the security forces, they also came there to maintain order. But I think the situation was so much intense and so huge, like nobody can control that. And the government's heavy handed response only fueled the anger and leading to even more widespread unrest. So yeah, I think this was one of the major tragic period of protest that highlighted the deep frustration of Bangladesh youth and also the challenges that facing the education system. So yeah, I think from my side, the events of July, from 1st July to 5th of July 2024, is going to be a very disturbing one, but is going to be remembered as a very dark chapter in the history of the world. So where the voices of students, were tragically silenced. And when something bad happens with the students, it's like something bad is going to happen with the future of that nation, because the youths are the future of the nation. So I think it's again a very sad incident that took place, but this was also very major, and this was also very important to make people aware about. So yeah, Nipasa, is there something that you would like to talk on this?
Yeah, I think it was not just educational reforms. It was more about the government job quota reforms that
Yeah.
because there was there as well, elections took place, and the other party won. So I think that is when all these riots came up, because when you look at it, these riots were triggered by political tensions between the ruling Awami League and the opposition parties, right? And
Mhm.
these protests quickly escalated into communal violence as well, leaving several dead and thousands injured. The unrest exposed deep divisions within the nation and also disrupted public life.
Mm.
And well, talking about India being Bangladesh's neighbor and ally, they also played a crucial role, urging for peaceful dialogue while providing humanitarian aid as well to the affected areas. So, but then, yes, border issues like migration and unresolved water sharing agreements, particularly over the Teesta River, still continue to test their relationship when you talk about India Bangladesh. But despite challenges, Sam, trade and connectivity projects have grown stronger,
Mhm.
highlighting the importance of collaboration. And as we look ahead, stability in Bangladesh remains vital for the region's security and prosperity as well. So I really hope that it's getting better, out there.
Mhm. But Nabasa, I would like to know it from you generally, because as the government introduced a new grade system, so it was like a bit modification in the exam system. Okay, And I don't remember like all the major changes, but it was something that I wanted to know. So it was about that now they are going to focus more on theoretical part rather than the practical one. And this people, I mean the students, they were opposing this. So what do you think about it? I mean, is this going to be a good one, or if they thought about it, if they are going to give more preference on theoretical one, then what can be the motive, or how do you see the future of the students in this exam system? What do you have to say?
First off, I think it's really difficult when there's a sudden change, out of nowhere, a sudden change, let the term pass, or, it should be gradual. Can't just, I mean, these rules and new amendments cannot just be made out of nowhere and between.
Mm.
A proper term has to end and only then start a new one, right?
Yeah.
Then, when you look at the protesters' demands, well, I mean, there have been a lot. I mean, the Bangladesh job quota riot also refers, you know, how to say that. If you look back at 2018, there was this issue over job quota system in government employment, and the job quota system, it was designed to give certain groups preferential treatment in government job recruitment, and this had been a continuous case every year, but it was essentially introduced to promote social and economic inclusion for specific groups, including the disadvantaged or ethnic minorities and even people with disabilities.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I think that is what, and when you talk about students and job seekers in Bangladesh, they began protesting against this system, particularly the large portion of quotas which was reserved for government jobs. They felt limited opportunities for educated and qualified individuals, especially, the protests were triggered by demands to reduce or abolish the quota system. So, as many believed, was being exploited and unfairly benefiting certain groups with who no longer needed the affirmative action, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the main reason.
Yeah, and I think this lead to a huge, everything like clashes broke, then tension grew, and there was so much destruction overall. Like buildings were set on fire, then there were physical barriers as well. So a lot of violence and a lot of blood, also loss of blood, also we could see at that
Yes.
times.
In fact, students faced so much problems because exams were cancelled. I mean, students not just from Bangladesh, but also international students studying there. Especially, I think they're known for, medical studies. It seems like they have a lot of international students doing their medical studies there. So, I mean, imagine exams being cancelled, how much loss. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think many just left because they were so scared of what happened that time. And it's a great loss, losing a year. It's like I mean, having a gap year just because of all these riots.
Absolutely, and I think it was a very disturbing one, to get to know all these riots, incidents, war. But I think it's also very important to learn things from these incidents. It's also very important so that in the upcoming year we can't be facing all these things. And I think, yeah, Napasa, why don't you go ahead and share the other events as well?
For sure, for sure. But before we head on to those, I really want to say, folks out there, you can also join us, here on this discussion. You can dial this number 425-436-6335, and the access code is 988-888. And once you're in, you just say hello, we will be able to hear you. Just come, we can have a conversation about anything. Doesn't have to be on the topic. I mean, we can just wish each other also, I wonder what you're doing to, it's I'm sure planning for New Year's Eve, right? There's just one more day to go. So I'm sure it's been busy for folks out there everywhere. So, yes. Yeah, coming back to our topic today, yes, we also lost some famous personalities, world personalities, and one of them was Ratan Tata. Born in 1937, he passed away this year. And Ratan Tata, a titan of Indian industry, he leaves behind a remarkable legacy of leadership, philanthropy, and even innovation. Yes, the former chairman of the Tata Group has transformed, the it was a he was a global powerhouse when you talk about it. What a personality, right? With revenues exceeding $100 billion, he transformed. I mean, under his stewardship, Tata acquired iconic brands like Jaguar Land Rover and Core Steel, demonstrating a vision for global expansion that inspired generations of business leaders. So, yes, beyond business, Tata was deeply committed to philanthropy, which with significant contributions in healthcare, education, and even rural development. Well, his humility, integrity, and dedication to building a better world made him not only a respected businessman, but also a revered nation icon. So I think the world lost a lot with Ratan Tata, I think. Yes.
Absolutely. And in India, as we say, Ratna means gem. So I
Yes,
think Ratan Tata was actually, one of the like very precious gem of India, and I'm
absolutely.
sure, because he was also known as the visionary businessman, and he was a great philanthropist. I think he has contributed a lot
So
towards India.
much.
I think because of cancer, the cancer hospital in India, it is because of him. So, there are a lot of contributions of him, and I think
Tata
it was
Memorial, if I'm not
there were
mistaken.
so many of Tata companies we could see. So I think it was a great, contribution of him towards our nation, and we will be
Absolutely.
grateful towards him forever. And
Forever. Yes.
we could just
At
say
the
that,
age of 86, and I think we lost him this year in October,
yeah,
9th of October.
9th October, yeah, 24, at the age of 86.
Yes, may his soul rest in peace.
Absolutely. And that what we can say, it's like a condolence, heartfelt condolence towards him.
Yes, we really lost a very precious gem.
Right.
Moving on, we also lost Liam Payne. He was so young. I mean, he was born in 1993 and passed away this year. Liam Payne, he's a beloved figure in the world of music. We all love him because he rose to fame as a member of the globally successful boy band One
Hmm.
Direction. And the group's chart topping hits and electrifying performances captivated millions of fans out there, of course, cementing their place in pop music history.
Yeah.
Well, beyond One Direction days, Liam pursued a solo career as well, showcasing his versatile artistry with his hits like Strip That Down. And his music really resonated with the new generation, reflecting themes of self expression and resilience.
Hmm.
Tragically, his life was cut short at the age of 31, but his contributions to music and his ability to connect with fans really, on a deeply personal level as well, it really ensures his legacy lives on. His music will still be heard.
Absolutely. And I think I would also like to mention one very famous personality whom we lost in 2024. And
Yes.
she was from the world of entertainment, and her name was Dame Maggie Smith.
Hmm.
So I hope you know her. She was actually playing the character of Professor McGonagall in Harry Potter. So she was like one of my favorite character too in Harry Potter. And I think we all grew up, knowing her, watching her. So it was a very sad thing that she lost her life, and she was about 70 years when she lost it. And she also got an Oscar winning role in the prime of Miss Jean Brodie and Professor McGonagall also in the Harry Potter film. So I think her legacy, as a beloved actress, transcends stage, film, and televisions too. So yeah, I think her passing left a very void in the entertainment world. And but anyhow, her remarkable performances is going to inspire and has set an example for future generation too. And we are definitely going to remember her in our hearts. And absolutely, may her soul rest in peace. We could say that, but I think yeah, that too was a very sad news that we wanted to share. But still, we would say that it's very important for our viewers also to know who were the people, who were the famous personalities whom we lost in 2024. So yeah, and Napasa, would you like to add some more?
I think I have one more to add, and that is Zakir Hussain. December 15th, we lost him this year. He was born in 1951. And talk about tabla. I mean, a virtuoso, yes, he was in tabla, and a trailblazer, who brought Indian classical music to the global stage. So, yes, unmatched skill and an innate ability to connect with diverse audiences. Well, he
Right.
collaborated with legends like Ravi Shankar and John McLaughlin, and seamlessly, bridging the world's Indian and Western music. So, Zakir Hussain's innovative spirit led to groundbreaking projects such as Shakti and his Grammy winning albums. Of course, beyond his artistry, he was a cultural ambassador who dedicated his life to preserving and promoting India's rich musical heritage. Well, and his rhythmic genius and unparalleled contributions to music earned him global recognition and the eternal admiration, of music lovers everywhere. So the world is sure going to miss him too.
Absolutely. And here I also have one more personality. So he was Manmohan Singh, India's 13th Prime Minister, who passed away just now on December 26, 2024, at the age of 92. And he was known for his steady leadership during challenging times. Then he was also an economist and a statesman, and he also celebrated across the country. So his passing marked, at the end of an era, will be remembered as one of India's like most respected leaders and most inspiring leader too. And I think the nature, the humbleness that he had was very much liked by the people, and they were adoring him because of these qualities, because of his kind-heartedness, because of his humbleness. So yeah, I think obviously he will be remembered, and absolutely, we will definitely remember him forever. And yeah, I think that's all from my side. I think we can move ahead with our next event too. So please go ahead, Napasa.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you so much, Sam. And I think we should talk about something more interesting and a little lighthearted and not too sad anymore, I think. So let's talk about Paris Olympics 2024, a celebration of excellence, right? Yeah, the spectacular Paris Olympics of 2024. It was a thrilling event, filled with record-breaking performances and unforgettable moments. And Paris truly shone as the host city, blending its rich cultural heritage with the electrifying energy of the games. Well, if you look at the medal tally, the United States once again led the charts, securing 113 medals, 45 gold, 36 silver, and 32 bronze. And
Wow.
among the standout performances was a swimmer, Emma Johnson, who
Mhm.
clinched four gold medals, and sprinter Caleb Morris, who dominated the 100 meters and the 200-meter track events. And apart from that, India had also did its best performance ever. Earning 12 medals, three golds, four silver, and five bronze. And the
Wow.
spotlight was on javelin thrower Neeraj Chopra, who defended his Olympic title, and gymnast Avani Gupta, who bagged India's first ever gold in artistic gymnastics. So these achievements are really monumental for Indian sports as well. And globally, Kenya emerged as the athletics powerhouse, while China excelled in gymnastics and diving. But the biggest surprise came from Ethiopia, which dominated long distance events like taking multiple goals and, setting new world records as well. So, yes, talking about Paris Olympics, I think beautiful showcase of determination, skill, unity, proving once again that sports can bring the world together. And it's
Absolutely.
really incredible to see, these legacies being created on such a grand stage. Yeah, Paris Olympics, something unforgettable from 2024 for sure.
Absolutely. And I think it happened for 16 days, and Paris turned into the center of human drama, iconic venues, and incredible sporting moments. So yeah, I think it was one of the I think cheerful and a very grateful moment for each country that happened in Paris, and also the games started. So as you mentioned, there were different people from different countries like swimmers and also Neeraj Chopra. So I think there was a huge salute to them, and it was really wonderful for them to participate in this Olympic, and also they won. So I think it was a very proud moment for them, and people were also very excited. We have seen those videos, then we have seen how people were actually cheering for their favorite participants, and I think there were also different celebrities like Tom Cruise, Ariana Grande, and Lady Gaga. They all were there, and we found them also enjoying a lot, cheering for them, for their nation people.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, I think Paris 2024 had like everything, that was like unforgettable performances, then historic moments, and stars also that we never knew. So it was like a proper unforgettable moments that we got to know in this Paris Olympic 2024.
For sure, Sam.
Mhm.
Before we head on to more from us, we should read some of these comments. We're so sorry we have been ignoring them. Pavan had come in saying, we saw economic headlines dominated by rising inflation and energy crisis worldwide. If someone is applying for an investor visa like the EB5, how can these global economic trends factored into their application progress? Could they affect their eligibility? Well, I think this really requires an expert answer. But Pavan, thank you so much for joining us with your question, and we are sure going to address this in one of our shows with the attorneys, especially when the topic is relevant with your question. But yes, we did see a lot of economic headlines, rising inflation, energy crisis worldwide, that is for sure. Yes.
Absolutely. And if we talk about like if applying for an investor visa, how is going to impact, then it's going to be a little risky from my end because already we are going to see, because we have been through 2024 and we have seen it wasn't a very friendly year for investors, and for EB5 category, it was quite risky also, because to put up money, I think it's one of the major thing that nobody wants to lose in it. But
Hmm.
it was a very challenging, and in 2024 it happened. It was there was rise of inflation and energy crisis was also there. But in 2025 we can expect a little better. So I think this absolutely Nepalsa said it right. I think for this we could suggest to get answer from expert, so that I think you'll get a perfect right guidance, and that will be the best answer for you. So thank you so much, Pavan, for commenting in our comment section and participating in today's webinar. And I think, yeah, let's move ahead with Shakti. So Shakti is saying that this year has seen a resurgence in global efforts to combat climate change. Are there any immigration benefits or pathways for individuals or companies contributing significantly to green technology development? I think this is a very great question, Shakti, that you have brought up. And if you're talking about green technology development, then according to me, I'm not very much full of information on this thing. And I don't want to say something that's wrong. So, Nepasa, do you have any idea for this, or should we ask this question from our attorney? What do you say?
Yes, I mean, if I remember a little
Mm-hmm.
bit, we had Sophie Alcorn, attorney Sophie Alcorn, who joined us from um, yes, and I think she had mentioned, yes, that they are definitely looking forward for green technology development, and there are more chances if you can prove that your business is going to benefit not just the economy but also the environment of the country. I think
Mm-hmm.
there you have another plus point, and also at the same time you're going to be um, you know, creating jobs for many out there, right, in America.
Right.
So I think this could be a plus point. But Shakti, thank you so much for bringing this up as well. A very important point, and I hope that you can check us out here in Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. You can go check out Sophie Alcorn. We have a playlist also with her. And I'm sure if you check out the whole conversation we had in one of our shows, you're sure going to find your answer. But even if not, we will surely have to address this, to get an expert advice. So thank you so much, Shakti, for joining us. And yes, I think it was very, very interesting today's conversation. But I think one of the biggest and something we cannot miss is the US elections, right, Sam?
How can we forget that? All throughout the year, we have been talking about it.
Yeah, for months and months before the election, so many headlines, and then the elections happened, also got over, and soon, I mean, President Trump is joining office, and on January 20th, 2024, he's going to be our 47th president,
Yeah.
and it's been crazy. U.S. presidential election. It's been one of the most polarized, I mean, talked about contests in the recent memory, I think. So,
Right.
yes, Donald J. Trump, projected to secure the presidency. The campaign trial was also a very intense one. So many intense debates and, well, the assassination attempts. How can we forget
Mhm.
that?
Absolutely.
And yeah, you know, the economy to everything from the economy to immigration policy. Well, Trump's return to the Oval Office really promises to, revive his signature policies like focusing on America first economies and stricter border controls, while Democrats and independents are gearing up,
Mhm.
well, to fight this. To fight and navigate his administration's direction. But of course, the voter turnout this year broke records, underscoring the nation's deep interest and involvement in shaping its political future. So when we look back at the election, I think we have some takeaways also, because it was not just about presidency, it was about like a referendum, on the country's values and priorities, from
Mhm.
battleground states deciding a razor thin margin to significant voter engagement in traditionally overlooked demographics. So 2024 really showcased, America's evolving political landscape for sure. So, yeah, with control of Congress also being a pivotal factor, the
Mhm.
question, is what's going to happen now? I mean, how's it going to look for America, right? Coming 2025. And it's clear that Americans across the board are demanding answers to pressing issues like healthcare, climate change, and even economic stability. I think these are some of the major concerns, that we are all looking forward to.
Absolutely. And I think, with that, I would also like to uh, give it like a conclusion line that, we have been through so much in 2024. And the world, overall has experienced events that not only shook nations, but also changed the course of history, though those were some historical moments, historical events that happened in 2024, like from the heartbreaking escalation of the Ukraine Russian conflict to also the powerful student led uprising in Bangladesh, and lots of loss, that we also went through the iconic figures like Ratan Tata and Mohan Singh. And I think having so much loss, I think moments of triumph also was there, like the Paris 2024 Olympics, that also reminded us of the resilience of the human spirit. So I think the headlines that today we talked was kind of a testament to both the challenges that we face and collective hope, that we must hold for a future defined by peace, healing, and progress. So yeah, I think 2024 has been a year deep challenges and profound moments that shape the world we are living in today. So there was so much from devastating to inspirational achievements also, and but with the great thing is that every setback there have also been stories of hope, courage, and progress also, and that reminds us of the power of unity and perseverance. So I think if the world have unity, if they are having brotherhood feeling for each one of them, And I don't think that world is going to have any crisis, or there's going to be any violence, any war, or any negative thing, that we are sharing these incidents right now. So yeah, I think that's all from my end.
For sure, Sam, very rightly said. But for that to truly happen, it's going to take a lot of time. But even if not, if we really look back at 2024, what an incredible year it was. A year of triumphs, challenges, and moments that have really shaped our world in profound ways, really. So it's been an absolute pleasure co-hosting with you, Sam. Especially the special episode with you, probably our last episode of 2024 on daily immigration dose. Of course, we're coming back again, but it's going to be another new year, right? So, to our amazing audience also out there, thank you so much for joining us, throughout this journey. I mean, not just today here on Daily Immigration Dose, but entirely from the team of Immigration and Jobs Talk Show. It was really great to have you support us, to join us, with all your questions. And I'm uh, telling you that we have so much more to offer. So stay with us. Don't forget to subscribe to us. And absolutely, as we step into 2025, let's carry forward, the lessons, the hope, and the resilience that this year has shown us. So,
Absolutely.
from all of us at Immigration and Jobs Talk Show as well, we wish you a safe, joyful, and a prosperous 2025. Happy New Year ahead. Have a great one. Enjoy yourself and stay safe. Okay.
Absolutely. And I think that was great having each one of our uh, participants, each one of our commenters. I hope we helped you in getting to know a lot in related to immigration topics. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you, Napasa, also. I really enjoyed co-hosting with you, and it was so insightful. Our each webinar has been great insights, and I think that was wonderfully, shown in front of everyone. So thank you so much, everyone. It was a great year ahead, and it was a great year. And in 2025, I hope it's going to be a better one. So don't lose hope. Always stay happy, stay cheerful, and happy New Year in advance to each one of our viewers who are watching us right now. And don't forget to like us, share us, and subscribe to our channel. It would be
Yeah.
wonderful to have you again in 2025. And thank you so much, everyone. Meanwhile, me and Napasa are signing off for now.
Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.